What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Lance Clark, and you've already read the title of this video, so let's just get into it. My friends were nice enough to loan me their Mini 2 to test out, and they also actually ended up helping me do some of these tests comparing the Mini 1 to the Mini 2. So starting with form factor, both are the same size and weight. They both weigh under 250 grams, so you can fly both of these within Canada without a drone license, which is fantastic. Other than that, the only really difference is that the Mini 2 has less lettering. It comes with a USB-C charge port, where the Mini original comes with a micro USB. You also have this front LED on the Mini 2, which you can change the color of, which is kind of fun, I guess. Probably one of the most noticeable size differences is actually in the controller. The original Mini and the Mini 2. The original Mini controller uses a Wi-Fi signal to connect to the drone, where the Mini 2 actually uses a radio transmission. So you're gonna get a lot more reliable and stable of a signal from the Mini 2 controller rather than the Wi-Fi signal that you get from the Mini original. Honestly, I didn't really notice how bad the Wi-Fi signal was on the original Mini controller until I saw the Mini 2's transmission feed. It was like silky smooth, no interruptions, nothing. It was fantastic. The original Mini, sometimes when I'm flying, the screen will jump around, the image will jump around, it will lag like crazy, and it honestly is kind of stressful sometimes to fly. So I've had it actually where the signal has just like cut out altogether, and I just had to like wait until the signal decided to connect again, and then I could fly the drone back to me. But like during that period where it was like completely dark on the screen, I was stressed. The fact that this never really skips a beat when you're flying it with the transmission is really nice, especially when you're doing client work. You feel a lot more confident getting shots. You don't have to redo any shots because you don't know if you got it or not. Just overall a more confident flying experience. I will say I really wish that they freaking changed this stupid door thing. It sucks to get off, and they didn't change that at all. It still sucks. So one of the things that I was really curious about that I haven't really seen anyone else talk about is actually the gimbal. I wanted to know if they improved the gimbal stability in the Mini 2. Sometimes when you're flying in sport mode on the original and you come to a stop, the gimbal like shoots up like super crazy, and it completely ruins the shot. And I was really hoping that they fixed it on the Mini 2, but unfortunately I actually kind of found that it was a lot worse. Honestly, this isn't that big of a deal. It's more of just like a convenience thing. I tend to just plan my shots around it, and it's really not that hard. And honestly, I'm more focused on when the drone is actually flying rather than like the start or the stop. But it's just kind of nice if they did improve it, so I didn't have to worry about that and like risk like possibly like, it feels like I'm gonna just like break the gimbal when I do that. Like it feels like it's like straining it a little bit, so it's just kind of nerve-wracking, but overall like it doesn't really matter. Now the Mini 2 does have a 4K camera, which is great, I guess. Not enough to warrant like an upgrade or anything, but like it's kind of cool. Now the thing that really matters about that is that because of that 4K camera, they actually added a 2x zoom to the drone, which is dope. By far my favorite feature of the Mini 2, hands down. Typically drones have a really wide camera on them, so if you want to get close to anything, you literally have to fly closer, which then you risk hitting things, crashing the drone, bad day. Worse, if it's a person, if you're trying to like at a wedding or something, you want to get like a closer shot of the drone, like zoom in, like, and then pull back and do like a dope thing with your drone, you literally have to get closer to the people. And that tends to make them really nervous because no one wants a drone in the face, and if you did fly the drone into someone's face, it's a huge liability thing. So that zoom feature where you can punch in 2x, get closer without physically having to move closer is great. That's fantastic. That opens up a whole new world of shots that you can get with this drone. So zoom. It's pretty dope. Opens up a lot of shots that you can't normally get unless you just risk it, but you shouldn't, but you could. So deal breaker, not necessarily. Very dope though, very, very dope. So the biggest issue that I find with these cameras is because they're so small, the sensors have to also be really small. And that just means that they just don't do well in low light. I'll go to fly my drone to get like a closing shot or something of like a wedding, and it'll be nice and dark. It might be like golden hour or just as the sun has set kind of thing. And there is just noise everywhere. Like the videos are almost not usable because of how poorly they do in low light. And I was really hoping that with the Mini 2, they may have improved that. Something may have done differently. I don't know. But they didn't. It's the exact same. Like, basically there's no difference between the Mini original and the Mini 2 in terms of like a low light camera. And that's probably one of the biggest things that prevent me from going and shooting anything, especially now that it's wintertime and the sun sets at like 4:30. Like, we just can't fly our drones in the evening, basically. It's just game over. I mean, I don't recommend flying a drone at night regardless, because like being able to see power lines, that stuff. But just like that blue hour time, I would love to be able to get some beautiful, like the sun has set kind of shots. And I just can't, it just doesn't work. So that really sucks. No improvement. What did improve for low light is that the Mini 2 can actually shoot raw photos. The Mini original can only shoot JPEGs, which was probably the biggest drawback for photographers with the original. And that is a totally fair reason to upgrade from the 1 to the 2. Now, when I shoot photos for my clients professionally, if I have any drone shots that I'm going to do, I do not use my Mini for a bunch of reasons. I actually hire another company to come and use their bigger and badder drone. The reason is mainly for like stability, just overall picture quality is better. You have more options. We can zoom in, we can do just tons more things. I can bracket my photos and like that kind of stuff with a bigger drone. So just normally I wouldn't use either of these to shoot like client photos if someone were to hire me specifically for drone photos. But the fact that the Mini 2 does shoot raw is really nice. I'll give it that. You can expose for your highlights a lot better, and if you tend to shoot dark a lot of the time, you can definitely boost those shadows and stuff like that, where on the original you can't. To be real, the JPEGs from the original Mini edit really, really well. As long as there's sun and you're not doing any crazy like shadow boosting kind of thing, the colors edit beautifully, like everything about it actually works super, super well. Leave a comment down below if raw photos for you is like an absolute deal breaker. My final thoughts are that I would really have rather had DJI take their time a little bit to release the Mini 2 so they could release some truly like next level features that would make me like desperately want to get the Mini 2. Where I found that because there was only like a year span between the release date of these two drones, the Mini 2 feels a lot more like a Mini 1.5 rather than like the next iteration. The controller is dope. Radio transmission is the way to go, by far. But like, that's more of a convenience rather than something that will actually help me get better shots for my client. What do you think? Did you really notice a big difference in quality? Leave a comment down below, and like always, like this video if you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, please dislike this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope that you have a fantastic day. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.